Okay, but remember, it is daylight now. Y'all can't be getting too freaky in the woman's front yard now. Attack of the Titans is going on here. Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another episode of Dandadan. We are now on season 1, episode 12, which is called Let's Go to the Cursed House. Yeah, again, sounds like it's going to be a ton of fun, but we do know what this one's actually about. This is probably one of the most direct titles that we've had for this show, but digressing, last episode we got introduced to Gigi. We know the backstory of why he is now staying with grandma. We're not exactly sure yet whether or not it has to do with the golden ball, but either way, he can see spirits now, and his house has been haunted by something pretty evil, so bad that no spirit medium's been able to take care of it. So grandma basically said, look, you, Momo, you got to go and try to take care of this because my powers are limited to our area. So Momo needs to do this so that this boy, at least when his parents get out of the hospital, will be able to go home at some point. And then we saw that our trio were put on a little quest last episode because this mannequin, this human remake of a human body, took off running from the school with a golden ball attached. And we see that Momo is trying to negotiate with him to get, the ball back. But in the midst of all of this, there's all the teen drama of Okurun feeling jealous about Gigi and Momo's relationship, even though there really is nothing there other than friendship. But I'm really actually quite excited to see what's going to happen at Gigi's house and what exactly is going on there. Is it a spirit? Is it an alien? Is it a combination of both? We don't know, but we're about to find out. So let's jump in. But just before I do, a reminder that if you'd like to be in the know when I drop episodes, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. If they keep bringing strays to grandma's house, exactly. Really? So grandma's house is just a place for all the broken toys? What about the golden ball? Right? Like... Yeah. But still how? Right? Why exactly does Turbo Granny hate Gigi? The cat scratches. All right. You'll probably get some. Okay, Okurun. Are we gonna take that advice? Wow, that's the way you jumped in? Okay. I'm like, homie's gonna play with you. What do you mean, Okurun? Period. Put them away. Right? That's very... And if she is? Okay. He's like, get this man out my girl's house. Oh my gosh, but good for Okurun. I like that he's actually, standing up for his feelings, even though it's completely awkward. You're just gonna play with the devil, huh? Okay, whatever happens to y'all, nobody better save y'all either. I'm dead ass, Momo. Just go right by this if you see it happening. Okay, sir, you were supposed to keep this low key. This is not gonna work with you. Okay. I guess people probably just think it's a cosplay. Well, you should be able to do that reassemble thing, right? You already did this, no? Or does it only work if you're the one who breaks apart? 4 a.m.? You're a good friend, Momo. Too good, really. Not the backlit son. Y'all, this is better than any J-drama I've ever seen. Okay, but remember, it is daylight now. Y'all can't be getting too freaky in the woman's front yard now. Momo's like, I tried. I really tried to hang, guys. Not the drool. Maybe we could watch for traffic next time? Are you doing some jutsus in there? What's going on? This angle for this camera is crazy. God. Yeah, no. I wouldn't be able to sleep either. Yeah, it's interesting, actually, because up until now, everything that we've seen of Gigi's been super playful and like funny and slapstick. But right there, that angle and everything they showed in his face, he actually looked genuinely like both scared and scary to me, which is interesting. He is. My man didn't even have a friend until this year, man. Candy? Is he fine? Whoa. Enough snacks. Look at him. They just have history, Okarun. History does not mean future. It's okay. I really love how they showed the tunnel actually giving him that reflection. That was great. Yeah, that should be a priority. Nut. People might take that the wrong way, sir. Isn't it? His face? You're taking this way too much to heart. That's right. Get involved. Okay, let them know. He's like, this is my area of specialty. That's interesting. Wait, is that supposed to be Neil deGrasse on the cover of this? Why are you screaming? You didn't actually think he'd be into it? Look at him, Borger's like, oh no! Did I actually find a friend? Do I like my mortal enemy? Right? Like, did you ever just try conversing with this dude? Oh, you can't hate him now with him stroking the ego, can ya? That's the best way. See? Then, bro, just grow your friendship circle. It's not that deep. And honestly, once you start hanging out with both of them, you'll realize there is literally nothing there. Ah, I see. We never know. 200 years ago. Yeah, what is that? What? What's wrong with this whole town? Get that cardio in. Both of y'all. Come on, you could have turbo grandied that whole thing. Taking Momo with you. Oh, that's beautiful. The hike was, the view is worth the hike. I've never been to Japan, but I've heard that a lot of the attractions are just like this. Tons of steps and cardio, and even the locals need to stop and like take breaths and snacks, you know? You missed Okarun! Well, maybe it was when they were there. Right? He's like, can y'all not leave me out here? Oh. I don't like that. What was in the distance? Why did it sparkle? Is it a golden bell? Oh no. What in the Attack of the Titans is going on here? No, she has a remote deal. Because she's bored. Why does anyone turn on the TV? Yeah, I'm thinking they just may not be there right now. Whoa, no, Momo, this is bad. Don't get cocky. That's right. She said, run, manservant, quickly. Since I'm here using my precious energy and spiritual energy. Aw, she said, sit next to me, boo. She's right about that. Y'all just climbed like 1 billion stairs. Yeah. I mean, you're half spirit, bro. You'll be okay. She's like, this is a little bit too much dude bro energy for me. I'm gonna go and relax about bones. He doesn't play soccer. What are you talking about? To start. Stop apologizing. She would be laughing. I can't even front. She would laugh at you, but out of love. Right? Come back to earth, bro. Focus. Huh? I had a feeling Gigi wasn't an idiot. Mouth open, girl? Aw, that's really thoughtful of her, actually. Stop showing off. He's like, I'm trying to figure out your intentions, sir. Oh, not what I love about Momo off. I love this song. It's friend. He does have you on the time, but that... Don't. Wait, is he gonna... Oh, I thought he was gonna brag. Are you sure those hot springs are okay? That's probably for a reason. Get out, Momo. I'm getting nervous. You better have pants on. Why are you limbering up? You better scream that you're underage, girl. I think you guys should be friends. This is what it's like having male friends, Okurun. Aren't you happy that you didn't have them all this time? What is? I'm missing it. Oh. Oh, well, that's on you, girl. That is on you. Get out immediately. Grab. You have a towel. Get out. Don't turn your back on them. It's hollow. I say that, but honestly, there's a lot of girls who are super scared to do that. I'm going to try to motor right through there. I will call on the strength of Jesus. I'm not staying in there. There's none in Japan. That's all you need to know. Moving on. Why are we talking about this? And why are these bubbles indicating movement? I think you should try. Oh, no. Let's not go in there. Paste it back up. Oh God! Oh God! Why did her powers work? I don't like this. Plaster the wall back now. Y'all always be ending on the most pivotal scenes. I hate this show, but I love it. This is not good. And you know, I had a bad feeling in my gut the second that Momo left on her own. I said, girl, I don't think you guys should separate. I don't think you guys should separate because we don't know what we're dealing with here. If it was enough to make 3 spirit mediums try to take their own, or actually successfully take their own lives, and the rest of them being like, I'm never stepping foot back up there, and put your parents in the hospital? But I mean, I don't know. I guess grandma must have thought whatever it is, Momo could handle it. I mean, Momo is powerful, right? We know from way back in episode 1, her power is like next level. It just hasn't hit that peak since, right? We heard the grandma say that Momo's got the potential to do so much more, but it's capped for some reason. So, I gotta think that whatever's going on right now has gotta be something, and maybe that's why grandma sent her on her own. Because I mean, yes, grandma's powers she says they don't work outside of her district. I don't think that's true. I think they're just weaker. But digressing, I think she sent Momo on this one because she's hoping to do something to push Momo's powers into high gear and actually help her crack the ceiling of what she's been achieving so far. Although I feel like every battle Momo's been doing a little bit better. I don't know about whether or not she's been getting stronger, but she definitely is getting more proficient. But yeah, this was an interesting episode. We're kind of still on the whole teen drama kick, which I don't mind at all. Poor Okurun. Well, first of all, they discovered with the mannequin situation, like they have the girl mannequin now staying at grandma's house. She's just going to become this place, like what is this going to be, like the place where misfit toys, the lost boys hang out. Like anything that they drag home from these battles apparently is going to end up in grandma's compound. But you know, the thing is, even though I think it's a little bit weird for her to have to keep doing this, I have a sneaking suspicion all these misfit toys are going to end up being very vital. Like I wouldn't be surprised if at the end of this all of these different elements come together and help them fight something bigger. Like I don't know, I just feel like, I do think that this is these good turns that Momo and Okurun are paying forward to these monsters and spirits, I do think it's gonna turn around and benefit them in the end. I don't think it's gonna be all for naught, I guess is my point. But anyways, coming back, Okurun, he is still dealing with this jealousy, and we see that, you know, every time he sees Momo and Gigi interacting, he takes it as them falling in love with each other, that there's some deep connection, and he just doesn't see it for the familiarity that it is. And that's what I said in the last episode. She just knows this guy. She's known him since middle school. Like, they're gonna be very comfortable with one another, right? They know each other very, very well. So there's gonna be jokes, and there's gonna be moments, and there's gonna be, just like I said, that familiarity between the two of them that Okurun's just not gonna have because he's only known Momo for a short time. But it doesn't equal love per se, right? And it's hilarious because it always shows, like, you know, men and women are very similar in many ways, but they're also super different in other ones, especially the way they interpret things. Like, I as a girl can tell that Momo feels zero for Gigi romantically. Like, there's nothing. That is her buddy now. That is her friend. Whatever crush she had in elementary school has long faded off. And she honestly is looking at this kid and is like, you're actually cheesy. Like, you are actually a loser. Right? And in a playful way, not like a loser, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I know there's moments where she's sitting there looking at this guy like, why did I have a crush on you again? Like, what did I see in you? Like, there's nothing on the attraction meter. There's not so much as a blip. Okay. She has not blushed one time like she does with Okurun, or when she's thinking of Okurun or talking about Okurun. Like, it's not even on the same level. But poor Okurun just sees this familiarity, and it just threatens him so much because we already know, A, he's worried that somehow Momo's going to turn around and wake up one day and be like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And B, because, you know, he's got a crush on her and he's a teenager and everything is heightened at this age. And yes, the jealousy comes quickly. But anyways, I love that he took a note out of the mannequin's book and decided that he's not going to give up. He's not going to just step aside and let, you know, Momo be swept off her feet, even though that's not at all what's happening. And I think it's so funny because Okurun is in fact an awkward guy. He's so awkward, especially when he tries to like step outside of his character and be something he's not. And so it just was funny. But hilariously though, the fact that Gigi matches the energy is what's throwing Okurun off, because he's so sure that Gigi's just going to be like a bad guy. And he's not. He's a ham, right? So anyways, I thought that was kind of funny. And then of course now Okurun figures out because he didn't hear the whole story about why Gigi's there. So now he understands it. And of course he wants to help her get this whole exorcism done because he wants that man out of his girl's house, which is very fair. And on this trip to his hometown, we see that Okurun once again feels that jealousy because he's seeing the familiarity, you know, because, you know, Gigi, he has his goofy moments, but some of it is funny, right? Some of it is funny to Momo, and Okurun just feels like he can't compete with that, right? And then he tells himself that, you know what, maybe I need to focus on something else. Like, maybe instead of me focusing all the ways that I don't have this kind of connection with Momo, let me focus on something more important, like getting my nut back, right? Homie is like, I got other problems. I have like anatomical things I need to figure out. So anyway, you know, and him focusing on that so much, of course. And I love the fact that he was in his head about it. And eventually we see that Momo's like, what is your problem, bro? Like, I know you well enough now to know when you're overthinking something. And again, she just basically says to him like, bro, you don't need to worry about all that. Like, we're going to figure this out. Just don't stress yourself out. But what I love about that moment, like I said, it's just that Momo is constantly watching him, like, and she's become very empathetic to him and his moods. And, you know, she really doesn't want any distance between them, at least on a level of being able to communicate with each other, right? So anyways, and despite all that, right, she noticed that despite the fact that Gigi was doing the most to get in her face. But anyways, we see that Okurun tries to fight back in his own way, right? Because he can't compete on the whole, I've known her since we were kids. So he brings out their newfound shared interest in the occult and in spaceships and all this kind of stuff. And he's thinking that it's going to be something that's going to somehow exclude Gigi, but Gigi's like, actually, this stuff's kind of cool. I'm actually kind of interested too. I wouldn't mind going into it. Now, again, it could be a ploy. At this point, it could still be Gigi just trying to make sure he doesn't get edged out. But I do actually think he thinks it's interesting. And I do think he likes Okurun, right? But anyway, Okurun kind of figures out at that point that, oh, wow, like maybe this guy's not a complete ass. Like maybe he's not a jerk. Maybe he's actually a nice guy who just happens to know the girl that I like. And we could actually get along in some way, shape, or form. We could actually be friends on some level. So anyway, that's kind of the new dilemma he has, because it's kind of like, it's so much easier to be a rival with somebody if you dislike them, but what if they're nice? Right. If you look at the difference between how Momo is with Ira, right? Like it's very easy for them to have their rival thing because they genuinely don't like each other. Whereas with these two, right? And it's the way it typically goes, unfortunately, right? Girls tend to be cattier with each other, which is sad. Whereas guys usually tend to be a little bit like they can be competitive, but still like not take it to that level. But anyways, so that kind of happens their whole way back, and they finally get to the town where Gigi is from. He's giving them a whole kind of lesson about the area and all the people who are there, and we find out that his dad was studied volcanoes, and that a bunch of people from wherever he worked moved to this town, apparently because they were supposed to be studying volcanoes. But that's kind of weird in of itself. That already gave me one red flag. And then we see right off the bat that they're being watched, and that this town seems oddly quiet, and that the people seem oddly stoic. And so anyways, the kids don't notice this because, you know, most kids are not very observant at that age. And they finally get to his house, which could not be further away from everything. And we see that there's something going on in the bushes, but everyone's so wiped out that they don't notice. But we as an audience see that the entire, or at least what looks like almost the entire town, is watching the house and watching the kids. And they've got those creepy ass Titan smiles on their faces that just, oh my gosh, I don't know what the Japanese obsession is with these weird ass smiles. I hate them. But anyway, so we know as an audience something is not right with the town. And we don't know at this point if it was something wrong before the family got there, or Gigi's family got there, or if it developed because something that maybe Gigi's dad, like, I don't think that they just did a throwaway thing of saying that Gigi's dad worked at the volcano and the fact that it erupted 200 years ago. I'm thinking that probably ties into whatever the heck is going on in this town. I don't know how, but I feel like there's something there. But anyway, that whole thing happens. They get back to the house, and Momo decides to take off because she's like, I don't see anything right now. Like the house is chill, but she's like, it'll probably come later. She's like, I'm going to leave you two to bond, because she noticed that Okurun and Gigi were actually having a good conversation about mutual interests. So she left because she knows that Okurun does not have any friends in school other than her. And I mean, we can't even count Ira's obsessive ass at this point. So very sweet. And again, just showing how thoughtful and empathetic Momo is, because she likes Okurun, right? Not only as a friend, but she has a crush on him. So the selfish thing and the, you know, the understandable thing for her could have been to be like, you know, send Gigi to go do whatever, and she could, you know, take time with Okurun. But instead she was like, let Okurun build more bridges and make more friends, because that would be really good for him. And I'll take a little bit of a fiver away from all this testosterone. But we see that unfortunately going back into the town was not a good idea, because she's alone and everyone in the town is weird. And we find out she went into a co-ed bath, which she clearly did not read the sign about, but I don't blame her. Like, she probably, I don't think there's a ton of those in Japan, but I could be wrong, especially in small towns. I would think they're probably still gender separated, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyways, it's very clear from the second whatever those things are came in that the energy was bad. And Momo tried to get out, but she got scared of trying to go buy them, like, because they were of course all planted near the exit, and she has no clothes on, right? So not the easiest way to run away, or the safest way to run away. And so she was hoping that her spiritual powers would be enough to help her in this situation. But we see that they literally, well, and this is what I'm not sure of now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know that it is that her powers didn't work, or is it that the other, I don't know if it's an alien or a spirit at this point, the way their eyes were glowing, I can't tell. But either way, whatever it was, grabbed both her hands the second she tried to use them. So I don't know if his grabbing her hands is what stopped her from being able, because we know that from back in the Acro Silky episode, that Momo struggles with controlling her spirit hands when her actual hands are bound. So it's not that she can't put it out at all, she just has trouble controlling it, but we didn't even see them come out at all. So I don't know if this thing somehow stopped her powers by touching her. I'm not sure, but it's obviously super terrifying. Like, that whole scenario in so many ways is very, very creepy and unsettling. So I'm really hoping that, yeah, Momo figures it out real quick. But yeah, at the moment she's in a lot of trouble, and she's by herself. So not great. And then back at the house, we see that Okurun and Gigi are supposedly bonding. And we see that Gigi, as I suspected, is not as goofy and oblivious as he seems. He basically picks up immediately. He's like, you got a crush on Momo, don't you? And Okurun doesn't really answer, but he's like, yeah, I picked that up. And then he basically confirms that he too has a crush on her, and he doesn't feel like he should back off. And then they kind of get into a whole, you know, the whole little contest over who likes her more. And it's interesting because I like how they're showing with Gigi's character that, you know, he does this over the top, goofy, like, I want to make everybody laugh thing. But as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, we saw the flashback to how he was in that house before he left. And it was a completely different change in countenance, right? It was nothing like the kid that we've been seeing, like eyes wide with terror, shaking, like his whole entire being looked shook, right? And that's what we saw. And and then we see this kid that's always cracking jokes here. And I very much think that Gigi it's the over the top jokes, etc., is his way of not dealing with how scared and discombobulated and just genuinely terrified he is, right? It's a cover. Because I think that if he didn't do all this over the top stuff, that he would probably be in a corner crying in the fetal position, quite honestly, for all the things that he's seen, for what he's seen happen to his parents, all that, right? That's all trauma for him that he's right now heavily covering for with these jokes and this kind of behavior. So anyways, I just like that he has these little moments though that they intersperse where he gets serious and he kind of lets you know that he's actually very much there and very much aware. He's just not putting it on all the time, right? So because like I said, he kind of was it last episode? Yeah, in the last episode we saw that he got really serious when he apologized to Momo and acknowledged the fact that he was really bad, like awful to her as a kid, right? There was no jokes there was no levity. He was very much like, no, I'm dead ass, no, I was wrong, and he apologized. And he also got dead serious in talking about what happened in his house. And then in this episode, when he asked Okurun about Momo, all the jovial tone was gone, right? He's like, so you're in love with Momo, huh? Like, it's just very serious. So I just kind of love how they're just dropping these little moments of showing us that despite how hammy and goofy he came off last episode, Gigi's with it. He's actually quite with it, very observant, and there's a lot going on. But right now, that over the top clown act that he's got going on is absolutely a coping mechanism for him right now. But anyway, that's what's going on at the house. And then in the middle of it, Okurun finally notices that the house, since they arrived, somehow created an extra room from the outside. And they were both like, yeah, that was not there when we arrived. They go inside. There's no door. There's nothing to indicate there's another room, but it's hollow. When they knock on the door, on the wall, they realize there has to be something behind it. So they decide to put a hole in the wall and see what's there. And then we see a tunnel that leads into a room that can be only described as one of the worst nightmares of Demon Slayer. Like all those little, those messages we've seen. I've seen a lot of animes, and those are always things that are either about spirits, the dead, warding spirit. Like, it's not good is the point. And there's just, the room was covered in them, as was the levels of the wall going towards the room. Just all those papers, hundreds of them, thousands of them. And of course they did that whole, zooming out shot that makes it seem like going in there would probably be a very bad idea. So yeah, that's where we are right now. The boys are back at the house. They've now opened this door. I mean, I don't think it really mattered whether or not they opened it, but whatever it is in this house is starting to slowly make itself known as the day goes on. And then we've got poor Momo, who's in a very compromising position back in the town. So yeah, what a way to end the episode. I'm going to be tense all week waiting for the next one to find out what happens. But I got to hope that, Okurun really is going to have to be the one who's going to probably have to pull out and do something to help them in this situation should something show up. And my girl Momo, I pray that something, in hers breaks through to be able to get her out of this situation if nothing or no one comes to save her. So yeah, good episode, guys. I enjoyed it a lot as usual. Had some laughs, but also some very real moments in it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.